before we had, codes for our finishes, right? CPT's carpet, WP wallpaper. So we also have codes for our furniture. So this is SO1, which is sofa number 1. We have CH1, and you'll notice there's a parentheses 2 behind it. That means I have 2 that are exactly the same, so I don't need to label them both. I have CH2, I have CH3, and I have SO2, sofa number 2. So this is what you're upholstering, plus you're finding a window treatment for me. Also floor finish. So you cannot do wood because we haven't studied wood yet, but you can do carpet area rugs. And this is the drawing basically. So this is basically what the furniture looks like. So you're not gonna be doing any math to figure out the upholstery. There is a chart that is here. And it actually is 3 pages. So you're just gonna look and say, okay, that chair kind of looks like the chair in my picture, and you're gonna tell me it's 5 yards. Yeah? So you don't have to do math. Does that make sense? So again, if I see a chair and it looks something like that, I'm gonna say, great, it's 3 yards. And so there's 3 or 4 pages, and then I think there's also a pillow page. So you're just looking and comparing the furniture pieces and giving me yardage. So you're gonna download each of the textile manufacturer specs. So it may not be a download, it may just simply be a photocopy, right? Or it should just be a photocopy because it's gonna be all real. So this is not something you make up, it's from the manufacturer. Make sure there's an image of the fabric. If not, make a photocopy of one. You're gonna add a spec to the right hand copy of that piece of paper. So it still should be 8.5 by 11, even if your fabric sample is small. And then you're gonna tell me what piece of furniture it goes on. So you're gonna complete assignment 5 with the worksheet. So you're gonna determine a fabric code. So for example, if you have a fabric that's going on chair 1, it's gonna be CH1, so chair 1, and then fabric A. So that might be the body of the fabric. If it has a pillow, it'll be CH1 fabric B. Okay, so CH1 is the chair that's going on, and A and B is the fabric. So you're gonna insert all the information in the category or column header. If there is a category or column header that does not apply, insert in A. Attach fabric samples for each furniture code. Put these in clear sleeves at the beginning of your process book. They act like the table of contents. So remember I said it gets a little bit more complicated as we go. So here's your textile specification. So you're doing SO1. So I'm telling you it's a sofa with contrasting throw pillows. So that means you have to select the sofa fabric. You're gonna tell me the manufacturer, the name of the fabric, the color, the width, the content, the quantity, which you're getting from the chart, you don't have to do math, and a sample. What's gonna go here is the fabric code, which is SO1A. So SO1A goes here. This is the throw pillow, which is a different fabric. It's gonna be SO1, the pillow is B. So you're basically taking this title and this subtitle and putting them together to create the code. And then you're doing the same thing, telling me the manufacturer of the fabric and giving me a sample. So you're going all the way through all of those. And then drapery, you're giving me a sample, so it can be DRA and DR. So questions about how you're filling out the chart. And again, it should be typed. And so this time, everything should be from the samples in the back. There shouldn't be any digital fabrics. So I want you to actually fabric code, insert the fabric information, attach the fabric to each fabric code, put these in clear sleeves in the beginning of your process book, they act as a table of contents. Each furniture upholstery selection must have a clear sleeve. So for the sofa, so again, when we were talking about like having the selvage at the edge of the fabric handy, so if you're going to select artwork or accessories, you wanna know what the color palette is. For each item of furniture, you're gonna have a clear sleeve. Hold on, let me go get the example, this makes it easier for an assignment. But this is the actual fabric, but I also want you to create the 8.5 by 11 that has the SO1 on it. So you have a record, which is now your spec. You have the extra sample of SO1A, and then on the back, you have the extra sample of SO1B. So you're keeping everything in one sleeve, and you have a sleeve for every piece of furniture. So this is SO12, CH1, it goes on and on and on. Does that make sense? So for each piece of fabric, each furniture piece has its own sleeve. This is CH2. Cool. Makes sense. So each furniture upholstery selection must have its own sleeve. You're photocopying a specification, label, and fabric furniture code at the right corner of an 8.5 by 11. Add any additional fabric left over from the board. An original specification card must also be in the sleeve. So hand in a 1-inch binder, compile all the sleeves in a 1-inch binder, take a high quality photo or scan of the material box and use it as a cover sheet for your binder. I forgot something, sorry. Make sure you insert your grade sheet with your name. So, you must select a floor finish. It must be carpet. You do not need to tell me how much quantity you need. Fill out the floor finish specification the same way you did in the previous assignment. No, you cannot specify wood, we haven't studied it yet. You're gonna photocopy your carpet selection, your CP number at the top right hand of the paper, and put it in a clear sleeve. So, you've already done carpet, so you know how to specify it. So once you're done, hopefully it's here, you now have a carpet sample of that. So probably it's photocopied from the book, and then you have a little sample, and then you have the number at the top. So you've already done that, should look familiar. Then you're gonna do the same thing. Remember all those things you did with paint and wall covering? You gave me a spec, and you told me the color, but now it's going in the book, because now, remember I said at the beginning it's gonna start building? Now we're building. So you have all the fabrics you chose, then you have the carpet, then you have the paint specs. This one, this is PT 2 and 3. The 2 colors are there with 1 spec. And then she wanted a wallpaper, so there's wallpaper 1. Okay. So you're starting to put together what's now called a spec book. So paint and wall coverings, though I think I still say they should be real. The quantity again is not required. You're gonna fill out a wall finish specification the same way you did in previous assignments. The sky is the limit. Do whatever creative design you choose. You must specify all the finishes you select in the Excel worksheet, but you are not required to complete the quantity. Do not make up the specification sheet. I do research them. If there's something I've never seen before, I go, and then I Google, because it's new, I wanna see. So you're gonna slip paint chips in the back of your carpet selection. That's all right, that's wall finish, I should say. The thing that I forgot is the material box. You guys have to make me a box. I forgot to tell you. I should have told you to bring foam core, and I may have enough foam core fabric and your wallpaper and your flooring in it. And the idea, what used to happen, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, and maybe you've seen it on Pinterest, but people used to make these really elaborate material boards where they would stuff and make pillows. That doesn't really happen anymore. It's sort of dated. So what happens now is you have this material box. When I worked at a firm, these were like these really big boxes that had handles. And for the most part, we didn't pin anything down. Everything was kept in Ziploc bags. And then you got to the space and you organized it. And what that lets you do is your client might say, I don't like that one. So you pull that one out and they can put one back in. So by the time you're done with the meeting, you have like a working board. So you won't have to glue anything down. You'll come to class, you'll have your fabrics, organize it, and there are ways we can talk about that you might be able to kind of smash it, like Material Bank. When they send fabrics, there's actually a piece of cardboard on top, and they rubber band it together like a bungee kind of thing. So it smashes all the materials in there so that when it's shipping, it doesn't move. So if you want to do it at home, and so you can just reveal it, you can do that. But you have to make your own 11 by 17 box. So very much like how we did our models in the back. So if you need help, you can do that in class today. I'm pretty sure I've enough phone before, but I'll double check. So the materials, what's extra goes in the clear sleeve, but then you're also gonna fold them and put them and make a nice presentation in this material box. So what you're presenting next time, you're gonna present the box, but then you're gonna hand me the book. So this is the part you give to your client, and the book is the part you give to your contractor. So this is like the pretty part, and the other part is the business part.
So there's two different pieces of fabric, so there'll be one of the same thing in box and one on binder.
Yeah. So what's in the spec, you may cut a little bitty skinny piece to put in the spec, and the rest goes in here. So you may not have any fabric in your book, quite possibly, because you've used it all here. But you have the photocopy. But then you may have one piece of fabric that's huge, right? And so some of it's here, some of it's a slim cut on the spec, some of it might be in the sleeve. So it depends. So whatever's extra goes in the sleeve. The first part that's most important is a little skinny piece on your spec. The rest goes in your box, but if there's too much, then the rest goes in the sleeve. So it's an example of what you're handing in. So if you're ever confused, there's more to it I still didn't tell you. I keep thinking I'm scaring you guys because you're so quiet, you don't complain. I'm used to my students complaining and yelling at me, oh, it's too much work. You guys are so quiet, you're internalizing it. So I'll start back here because these are familiar. So you know how you had these sheets before? Right, so all of this looks the same. This is your carpet specification. So remember you had that chart and you're like, this is so redundant, why am I filling that out? Now you have one for carpet, you have one for wallpaper, and then the carpet and the wallpaper fall behind. So basically these now act as a table of contents for the clear sleeves that happen behind it, right? And then you'll also have one for the new thing, that's the fabric. So this is where this SOA1 happened, the SO1B, and all of that information, and then the sleeves behind it go in the same order. So that chart acts as a table of contents for what's happening behind. Okay? So again, this is the part, because hopefully when you start working, you have like 5 different jobs going. So you can't be at the site saying, okay, put that paint right there, okay, that sofa gets the. This is you talking to your people, right? And this is you just trying to sell it to your client, to sell the $300 fabric that she can't afford. So this one's pretty, this one's functional. I'll leave these here, so you can look at this. It does help to look at it, so please don't be shy. It helps explain it. Any questions in general? We have time, so hopefully you guys have more questions for me as we go.